recruiting, I would hopefully know this before they come to campus, but instead of calling our players 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what we're trying to figure out are who are post-up players and who are perimeter players. Because in our offense, we'll post up anybody who can post up. So if we have a good two guard and she had a label on her, and we could use her around the basket and she could be effective, we find ways in our offense to get her the ball around the basket. And we'll work on a post game with that two guard if she's effective down there. A lot of our guards, well, I'll back up. A lot of the players on our team are somewhere between 5'10" and 6'2". And so the difference between a 2 and a 5 in their physical build is probably very, very small. And so we really try and label who can post up and be effective and who maybe isn't. And that's how we run our offense. So right now, before we get started, who's our more traditional posts? You two? Okay, and are you two comfortable on the perimeter too? You feel like you can play out there and handle the ball a little bit? She said she's awesome on the perimeter. She can do anything that anybody asks her to do. How about you? Are you kind of the same? We have two excellent players on the perimeter. And then there's our more perimeter-oriented people. Do we have someone who's more of a true point guard in the group? Let's just, for the sake of tonight, let's label you the true point guard. Okay? That'll help me. And then if we have two other perimeter players, it's okay. We're not into anything overly critical, so you'll be fine, I think. Can one of you maybe post up more than the other one, could you say? All right. So what we would do is we would label these three players post-up players. We would label these two players perimeter players. And then from there we can build everything that we want to do. Let's say we're going in transition this way. I want everybody to back up here behind the volleyball line here. Okay, stop right there for now. If we were on that end and we just got the ball, the rebound, inbound pass, turnover, made basket, whatever it might be, and we're coming in this direction, we're really aggressive in transition. We try and push the ball and score as quickly as possible. We're not a team that likes to slow things down. We're not a team that comes down the floor and just fires up shots. I don't feel like we are. It might look like that if you've ever seen us play, but we're a team that wants to push the tempo of the game. We believe in the little bit of chaos that we can create with transition far outweighs any of the negatives by us speeding up. For instance, if you watch, I think a lot of programs play, I think there are a lot of women's programs that are very, very deliberate. They come down the floor, a lot of set plays, a lot of isolation stuff. Ours is much more free-flowing. And especially when we play some of the schools, for instance, like a Baylor, we played the NCAA tournament, Oklahoma, we played Purdue before Sharon was there. Just a lot of BCS teams. They're always a little bit more deliberate than what we want to play. And we feel like that versatility or that free-flowing style sometimes just creates some problems because they're not used to going against it. So when we go in transition, the very first thing we're trying to do, because we want to throw the ball inside, is in transition we're trying to occupy the ball side post. So for the sake of where we're at right now, say the ball's on this side of the floor. What we would tell our players is, raise your hand if you're one of the post-up players. Okay, so we have three players. Whoever can get down the floor first in transition is running to that post spot. So the first spot we always occupy in transition is going to be ball side block. Who's the fastest post right now? I need one of you to come at me. Come on. Okay, good, stop. You won, you go back. And so as we're coming down the floor, we're telling that first post player in transition, we want you to go right down the middle of the floor. And we're lucky enough right now, we've got this yellow line. So we will know if that first post is down the middle. If the ball is shading on that side, you're coming down the middle, you're looking over your shoulder, you're looking for the ball, but eventually you're going to come down to the block. I'm going to talk about this quickly, and I'll come back and hit it a little bit more tomorrow. You will literally keep running down the middle of the floor all the way until you get to right in between these two marks on the free throw line. And from here, then you're going to start moving yourself over to the block. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second, but it's a really important point for us to get the ball inside. The next two spots we want to occupy, and this spot inside has to be occupied by a post-up player in transition. So right now on the floor, it could be three players. Sometimes we'll play where we have four players on the floor that could do it. Sometimes maybe only two. It just depends on who we have in the game and how they're labeled. The next two spots we want to occupy are what we call the wing spots. So they could be anybody. The next two fastest people get basically right out here. Good. Our wing spots are going to be right about that first free throw mark, straight out. Our wing spots aren't free throw line extended, and they're not the corner. We want them really right in between those two spots. I'll talk a little bit about that in a second too. So we got first spot occupied, and we've got our second spots occupied. And then our last two spots we're going to occupy are what we call our trail spots. Once you come right down over here, and you come right down over here for me. And so we get into what our offense is a 4-out, 1-in offense. Now within the offense, we had one player come in to post up, but throughout a possession, and for us with a 30-second shot clock, our possessions are still short, we could literally have 1 to 4 different players post up in a possession, depending on how much we're able to move the ball and how much we run before we're able to score, or miss a shot, or turn it over, any other number of things that sometimes we all do. But this is what we want to get down the floor and get to. Now, the reason we have you come right down the middle of the floor is if we want to go inside, we're trying to put pressure on me, person guarding you. And what we found is when our players start to drift off of this center line, they're a lot easier to guard in the post. For instance, if she's coming down at me right now, we tell our post players defensively to occupy this spot. Meaning if you come at me really hard and I'm occupying this spot and you want to go outside of me, sometimes we're comfortable with that because now we've got her pushed off the block a little bit. We can help in different areas and we got her where we want her. If she's coming down hard at me and you want to go underneath me, I can front you, stop, and I can be on this block. If I'm staying here, you throw the ball there. We feel like now, see right here, we've got her buried far enough where if they're going to try and lob it, we can have some help side and we can get some things done. The pass is further, so it's an easier pass to go get. So if defensively we're trying to occupy this spot, we want to make sure offensively we're trying to occupy that spot. And when we bring the player right down the middle of the floor, okay, stop. It puts pressure on me to decide right now, do I want to get underneath her and let her get to this position, or do I want to try and get around and start moving? If she can get me beat either underneath or over the top, we've gotten the ball inside a lot more because of that. We get a lot of teams, I think, at this level that like to play behind, so when you run down the middle of the floor and they're thinking behind, this is a pretty good spot for us right now. We get a lot of teams, if they front us, come on back, and I start jumping to the ball and I'm thinking front, they try and run you in underneath me and just go ahead and try and push me off from this position as far as you can. So coming down the middle of the floor has been really good for us. Sitting there. The next thing we're trying to do with whoever's in our trail spot, and it's you, is make sure you're catching the ball right there, inside the lane line. Because if we want to throw the ball inside in our offense, and they're playing behind us right now, we should throw it in. Okay, throw it back up. If I do front and take this away, we try and get a ton of high lows. Go out there and stop. And so if we can catch the ball inside this lane line, it really makes this pass into you a much better pass. My aim right now is away from where any help side defense would be. If we're sitting down here and trying to take this away, it's a harder angle where if you move over 3 or 4 steps, now you're throwing the ball towards me. That's an easier pass to go get. Also move over. Also, if we take this pass away, the pass from the top on a skip pass, if I'm in here helping, is a much shorter skip pass, makes it harder for me to go out and get to those people. Throw it back on top. So that's the initial thing, and that's all we're looking for in transition. So here's what we're going to do here. One other thing I want to talk about first. You stay on the block, all 4 of you back up again. We also have times where, this time you got the ball, you're bringing it down, you step back. If the first spot we want to occupy is that post spot and our post-up player gets there, and the next 2 spots we want to occupy are those wing spots, sometimes the ball will occupy that spot too. I'll get to that in a second. Let's say the ball is getting dribbled hard down the sideline. Now you would just bring the ball down wide, you could run wide, and now you 2 are our trail spots. So we do want the ball to get wide if we can. We do want these 3 spots occupied first, whether she has the ball or doesn't have the ball. What I want you to do here, and here's how we would work on it, is you 5 are going to come in the circle here and get around me. Try and stay a few feet apart. Okay? You're going to face the basket. When I say go, you're just going to go in a circle around me. You're going to go up, you're going to rebound the ball. You're going to take off and go in that direction, get to those 5 spots, get the ball to the wing that's on the post side, throw it in the post and just score and stop on it. Okay? Any questions on what we're going to do? We're going to get you warmed up. Start moving. Go. Rebound. Get the ball to the wing, in, stop, score. Perfect. Did really well with that. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to add to that. We believe to be really good in transition, We have to be good. If we're going that way, we've got to be good from right here to right here. If we can be good in these first 7 or 8 steps, we can beat people down the floor and have some transition. If we're trying to beat people and be good in transition down here, we're going to have a much more difficult time. The defense is caught up. We're not getting them off stride. So what I want you to think about now is you've got to decide those 5 spots that we're trying to get to down there. You've got to decide who's where from here to here. So meaning, whoever our 3 post-up players, who are you again? One of you 3 has got to be on this yellow line by the time you get to the top of the key. Okay? That means 2 wing players, either 2 people without the ball or 1 without it and 1 with, have to be wide by the time you get here. Our 2 trail people then have to be more here and there by the time you get to the top of the key. Okay? You'll get it. Go ahead, move. See about it? Good. Now you saw we still have some decisions right through this area of the floor. And so far you've done this twice in your life, so a couple missed decisions is actually pretty good. You all did really well with it. But we need to have, this time do the same thing again. Go until I tell you to stop. And I'm going to tell you to stop pretty early, but just make sure you're listening. Let's get the rebound this time. Okay, stop. Perfect example of what I'm talking about. You take about 3 steps back, you step wide, kind of where you are, you're right back here. We're trying to develop our spacing before we get to where you're at. So if we've got 2 or 3 people back on defense, we feel like these 2 or 3 people have to separate. If you come at 2 or 3 of us down here in a group or close together, 2 or 3 of us can guard you pretty easy. If you come at us in an organized, spread out attack, that changes how we're going to defend you. So that's why it's so important for you to spread out much, much sooner. Can you post up again? Okay, are you ahead of any other post-up player? So you should be right there. I think you were behind her. Go back about 3 or 4 steps. You were coming. You, if no one's in front of you, can go wide. So we got to get them figured out a little bit sooner. Come on down here. I'm going to give you some more tips. Okay, so now you're going to be making that motion, just like we talked about. We're going to try and get the middle spot filled, 2 wide spots filled. We're going to try and do it by that first line right there, okay? Now, point guards, I'm going to add to what we want you to do. Anytime the ball is rebounded on this side of the floor, we want our point guard to try and get to that side for an outlet, okay? If a person getting the rebound can handle the ball, say you got 1, 2, or 3, we tell them to turn and go with it. In transition, we don't have to get the ball to the point guard. If you can dribble, you can go in transition. So if we get a dribbler to get it, and go with it. If, and this helps kind of clarify how we're going to do it. Let's say you run in the post. You can post up for us, right? Go ahead. Just get down there a few feet. Stop. Let's say you're running wide this time. You stay where you are at. Say you get the rebound. Point guard. You're trying to get to the ball side every time. Ball side. If you get out here, you find that you get an outlet, your first thought is, come back here with me, is to catch it, turn to the middle of the floor, and look. If nobody's in front of you, that's basically dictating that you need to go wide so we can get those 3 spots occupied. Our post, our opposite wing, and this wing. If you turn and look, and this time, you look and you've got somebody in front of you, now you're going to start shading more towards the middle of the floor. There's probably somebody that rebounded and threw it back to you. Everybody else is going hard down the middle. You get a chance to come in here and get to the middle of the floor. Stay back for a second because we're faster than what you can run right now. And now we feel like we've got the kind of spacing we were talking about. As you get to right about here, right over this logo, you kind of need to choose. If you're coming down and the defense is shading, you can come right back towards this side. If you feel like the defense lets you cross us over, you can start to move to the other side. Eventually, you should be getting down the floor just faster than our trick person would. You're going to enter the ball to one side. Okay, now stop. Now I want you just to go away to the opposite high post. You're our final trail person. You're always going to trail right to the ball side block, or ball side elbow. Then we'll get into our offense. Let's try and get that done now. So point guard, you have to get to the outlet side of the floor. If I throw it over here, you're going wide. Yes, just like that. First person down the middle. If we get somebody wide in front of her, that's fine. If we can't, you're going to take it wide and then two people will trail. If somebody's in front of you, start dribbling to the middle. Either go right or left, throw it to the wing, and then go. And cut opposite elbow.
The trailer was in this lane, or did she cut every time she passes the lane, she's going to cut opposite elbow?
You're getting ahead of me here. Oh, dang. Indiana, people are right. Basketball's the place. She's cutting to the wing because opposite elbow because she threw it to the wing. And we'll get into that in the half-court side. I heard someone say coach. Yep. No, she can throw it ahead anytime. She can throw it ahead. Let's get to that. Let's do what I just asked you to do. And then on that end, we'll come back and talk about options you can do in transition. Okay? All right, this is an easy one. Here we go. There she is. Go, go, go. Beat it. Two trails. Perfect. Good. All right, stop. That was better. So that's what you're trying to do every time. That was good. You ladies have questions. Looks like you had a question there. Okay, good. Now, as you get down just that basic idea, you also have more flexibility in this. People have asked, let's say you get a rebound out here and you start to go. Say you're up middle post. Say you're out in front. Go on the left wing. You're on the right wing. Okay, our point guard's coming down the middle. At any time, stop right there, everybody. If you feel like you can throw it ahead, throw it ahead. If you feel like you can throw it over the top, throw it over the top. Anytime you can move the ball down the floor with the pass, we absolutely want to do it. We get point guards who are a little better with the ball. We get them to be really good at coming down the floor and then trying to penetrate, take people down, and try and get early shots in transition. So we're really pushing the ball hard, trying to score. Okay, you throw it here, now you widen out, and you trail. Any other questions just on some of those basic transition things? I want to move into some of the half-court movement here pretty quick. So we got from point A to point B. Now, once we're in the half-court, stay in those 4 out, 1 in positions. Take out what we just did to get in transition and just reset. And we've got 5 people on the floor. We're running 4 out, 1 in offense. We have rules in our offense. We want the ball to get to the wing as much as possible. The reason we want it to get to the wing as much as possible is we want to throw it in the post. That's ultimately what we're trying to do. So when the ball is at the wing, just like in transition, our first look is, can we go inside of that post? We tell our post players, let the defense do what it is they want. If the defense wants to be behind you, fine. Post them up, try and get the ball. If the defense tries to front, fine. Push them out. The reason we do that is, if we can't get the ball inside, we're throwing the ball back to the top, and we're trying to get as many high lows as we can, which could be an over-the-top pass, throw it back to the wing. Say I'm fronting you, we throw it back to the top. If I come over, yes, we're trying to get as lows as we can, throw it back to the wing. Or if I'm taking this away and we throw it back to the top, I come underneath, we try and dump it in as much as we can. I'm 36 years old. You don't need to displace me every time you go by me. So as much as we can get the ball inside, that's what we want. Now, rules on our offense. How do we get screens? How do we get movement? When the ball comes back to the top, your first thought is, how can we get it inside? If we don't have anything there, we do what we call a cross screen over here. We label all of our screens. If this looks more like a down screen to you, I apologize. It might not be exactly down or cross, but we label it so we can talk about it. You stay there for a second. You stay posting up. So the 3-person side of the floor, we call it the post side. Your whole goal in life is on the post side to get the ball into the post. That's what we want. On the open side, your job is to get the ball reversed. So we like to do a down screen. You're going to come down screen here. Stop. You're going to move in here. It's kind of where the defense will be. You're just going to go up for now, and you're going to pop out to the wing. Reverse it. You could throw it to either one of these players. When you all catch it over here on the open side of the floor, one of the things we do on our offense is we try and spread people out as much as possible. If we can't get it in the post, we really like penetration. We love penetration. So on the open side, this is your chances to put it on the floor and get to the basket. I don't want you to do that right now, but that's kind of how we would teach this open side. It's an active side. Rule 1, get the ball inside. The ball's on the 3-player side. Rule 2, if the ball ever crosses from one side of the court to the other side of the court, while you're trying to penetrate possibly or score, our post players get to make a decision. We're going to have them screen. We can screen up, and we call it a back screen, or we can screen out, we call that a flex screen. Let's work on the back screen stuff. The ball crossed from one side to the other. you're going up the back screen. Okay, stop. Remember, we said we want the ball to get to the wing as much as possible so we can throw it in the post. These back screens are usually set right about at the free throw line, right about there. If I'm guarding her, don't go anywhere, I'd jump to the ball a little bit, I'd be over, so they're kind of in the middle. If we get back screens, 9 times out of 10, we tell our offensive player to go behind the back screen. Same reason is, if I were guarding you and you wanted to come over it, now we're fighting in here. We're banging into each other. I can hold her up. I maybe stall her up here. We don't get down to where we want her to. So we're asking her to go behind it. If you can beat me to the block, you're going to beat me. We're going to throw it inside. If I beat you, come on back. If I beat you down here, that's fine. You're going to push me and move me out without displacing me. And all of a sudden, we're going to look for high-low. So rule 1, ball side of the post, or if the ball's on the post side, get it in. Rule 2, if it crosses half court, we're going to back screen. Rule 3, if you are in a top spot, trail spot, and you throw the ball to a wing, you're going to move out. What we've done right now is just taken the 3-person side and moved it all to this side. So after you screen, now you're stepping in and up, looking to throw it back. We're looking high-low, trying to throw the ball inside. If we can't do that, what would these 2 players be doing? Screening. Come on. Coming up, throw the ball. Okay, stop. Let's do a back screen again. Your first thought is, can I penetrate? Can I score? If you can't, we want the ball to get down to the wing. Go ahead and back screen. Come off of it, clear out. You threw it from the top spot to a wing. Throw it to the top, high-low. If we don't, go back out. If we don't have, don't pass. If we don't have high-low, we're cross-screening. Stepping up on top, back screen again. We come underneath, top spot to a low spot, you clear out. We throw it high-low. If we don't have it, we cross-screen. Okay, back screen, good. Hang on one second, try and get it to a wing. You be feeling high, and you clear out. Yep. Stop. His question. They asked, do we get screen switch? We get a ton of them switch. And I'll talk about some of those counters in just a second. Yep, I will handle that. You have a question. She's asking if we don't want her to hold the ball. Let's say the ball comes back to the top. You're going to screen. You're coming up here. You catch it. Okay, stop for a second. The timing is as you catch it, you're looking to score. If you can't score, you want it down there. That screen will be happening while you're trying to either score or get it down there. We prefer that she has the ball by the time she's moving down to the block. And you're clearing out. You're going up the screen. If I'm this low post down here, you've got the ball, I'm looking at you, I want it, you don't pass it to me. As soon as you reverse it, I'm thinking, go screen. Okay? Now, let's go from here. Let's say the ball's on top. I'm going to move on to the flex screen. Any other questions? I'll talk about how we handle those switches in a second. Yep, we do. We've got 2 really important angles on these screens, and I'll take both of them here. 2 really important things. One is if I'm looking at you with the ball, if I don't get it and we reverse it, we do come in and we do go straight up. Now, I'll be honest with you. We're not trying to screen this player so that you can run past me. Stop, go to the wing. Run past me, throw it to her in stride so she can make a layup. We don't get that very often. I bet 2% of the time we might get that. What we're trying to do, throw it back over there, is we're trying to get me, her person guarding you, come on, as she cuts to make a decision. Am I going to front her or am I going to play behind her? That's all we're trying to get me to do. Very rarely do we get that person open. We're trying to get me defensively to have to move, to have to make that decision. And the other important cut I forgot to mention here is as you come off and go on that back screen and you're going to go post up, you threw it down to the wing. As a screener, it is critical that we have found that after I screen, come in here and guard me for a second, that I step right at you as hard as I can, and I displace you, and I get my hand up, and you throw it to my hand, and I step out and catch the ball. Teams that really cause us some problems and try and stop us After I screen, just get up and deny the heck out of it. Don't let me catch it. Just stand up there. You know, and we've got some counters to deal with that too that I'll get into here in a little bit. Come on back. You go wide. You go. Keep the ball right there. Now it kind of looks like a pattern, right? This is easy to guard, easy to defend, and we ran into that against really good teams too, because they scout you and you have a hard time. So we came up with a lot of things to try and break that pattern. It got to the point where we just back screen every time. These two stayed basically high post and low post. Did y'all notice that? So we're trying to break that up somehow. So now you can set a flex screen. Stop. You were a post player to begin with, right? So this ended up being post to post all the time. We're trying to get screens that aren't post to post all the time. That's why we added a flex screen in here. So now when the ball gets across half court, your other option is you can screen for her. Now you're going to come off this screen. You can go over it or you can go under it. Choose one. Okay, stop. You're going to come over and post up. Two now, instead of flashing high, you're going to screen and just step straight out. You two are going to interchange because the ball went from a top spot to a low spot. So you're coming down just like you were screening, holding that defense off. You're clearing out, throwing it back to the top. Now we're right back in it. If we can't go into this person, because remember, this is a guard now, so now we're posting up a smaller player in here. Now we've taken the defensive post players, and we've got a defensive post player somewhere out here. We've got a defensive post player up here, and we've taken two big players away from the basket. Now, if we don't have anything, you're coming over here to screen. Okay? Now we have a guard screening for a post. Tougher to switch that way. We've got post players running around defensively trying to guard people on the perimeter. You don't have anything. You can't drive right away. You're trying to get the ball down to the wing. You're going to flex screen again. Now we end up with guard on guard. You're coming through. We're trying to post you up. You're wide up. You threw it from the top. Stop. You're doing the right thing, but you'll go over the top of her all the time. If I throw it down, I'm just going to step up here. I'm going to kind of get out of the way. You're stepping into the high post. We can't throw it in. You're coming down the screen. We step up, we catch it. Stop. Yep, throw it to her. Stop. You can't drive. You throw it down. This time you're going to back screen. Now we got a point guard back screening for our five or a post player. How many people run offensive sets where you bring guards down through the paint and set cross screens or diagonal screens for posts? We get that out of our offense now without having to stop and call a set. Coming off of it, clearing out. You're stepping in and up. Catch the ball. Okay, stop. So we got back screens and we've got flex screens that we set. Any questions on either of those two ideas? Okay. Still seems like a pattern. You feel like it's kind of like the flex offense, just swinging it around. The other thing that we do if we want the ball to go inside is we get people in the post out of our cross screens here. Let's say you were a post up, weren't you? And you're not our post up player? The ball's on top. We couldn't get it inside. We want you to cross screen. Come on down. Okay, stop. These cross screens, we don't just interchange all the time. We're trying to score on these, meaning if I'm guarding you and I all of a sudden try and jump the screen, we want you to go back one. You're going to step up. Come on back to where you started. If I follow you and you come and screen me, we're thinking, hey, we want to curl this. You're looking to go. We're thinking, come back here one more time. If I'm guarding you and I'm switching and I'm just going to step up and jump this, we want you to slip, go to the basket. You're going to step up. When we do this cross screen, we want one player to go in and one player to go out every time. So we're trying to score. We're trying to get a penetrating cut off of the screen. Go back to the top. If the player going in is a post-up player, they stay there. If the player going in is a non-post-up player, we need them to go back out. Let's say you come in downstream. You come off and curl this time because my defense follows you. Okay, so you're coming off and curling. One player goes in, one player goes out. You catch the ball up there, you're a post-up player. Now you stay in here and post up. So now we just found another way to get a post-up wing into the post. The ball crossed half court. You've got two decisions to make. I'm the post player. Is somebody occupying that post or not? If it's not, and let's say for the sake of not, you go out, now we've got back screen or flex screen. If it is yes and somebody's occupying, now I'm just stepping up. You've got the ball, you're dribbling maybe a little bit trying to get inside, and we're right back into 4 out, 1 in. So let's say go back to that from the beginning, where the ball is right there. I'm guarding, we're going to walk through this, because I'm old and Very fragile. You come over and screen. I feel really good about life. I'm a good defensive player. I beat her over the top of this so we can't get it. Stop for a second. I really bust my butt and I get in here. Now we throw it back behind you. You're trying to pin me right now, and we try and jam it inside as much as we can. Maybe I'm a really good defensive player, and as you made that curl cut, go back down, you got the ball still? As you made that curl cut, not only did I take this away, but you throw it back, and I jump to the inside, and I'm thinking life is really good. Step up behind me quick, yep, throw it there, throw it there. Now you seal me, and now we try and go high-low. So we're doing everything we can to make me, the person guarding the post, feel like I'm in the right spot, and hopefully we get you out of the right spot. The other thing we do to get people in the post, let's go back here, let's switch you. If you're a post-up player and we really want you down there, we tell you just to either go screen, and you're going to dive after you screen, you come off it. Okay, now dive right to the rim. That's one way we get a post-up player down there. Go back. We've had a few players that are really good, and we tell them just run to the block. So meaning I'm guarding you, I'm in this position, you just run down there and step up, throw her the ball, seal them. And jam it in. Throw back to the top there. He's asking, do we screen an area or the player? We always want the player. If this were going to be live and we were teaching it, that screen would probably be more down here. If I'm guarding, stop right there. If I'm guarding you two, our defense is probably in here. So it's going to be down here in this area, but we want to screen players. Absolutely want to screen players. Because sometimes this is a post down screening, sometimes it's a guard down screening, it becomes difficult to know, are you going to switch it, are you going to stay? It's different every time, so it's not quite as predictable as maybe it looks when I just roll through it right here. We can also have you screen. Now you slip to the basket. If we throw it there and you ever feel like, you know what, I can't catch it in the post, then you can just go ahead and step out. If you step out and you see that, you go ahead and back screen or flex screen. Good. Questions on any of that movement? Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't hear. Defense goes one remove. Yeah, like flare it? Yeah. If they have to. Yep. Yep, if they have to. Like we come in here, you screen me, you come in, you're talking, I jump over it. Do we flare this kid? Yep, absolutely, we'll flare it. Go on out. Further even wider. If she's out, throw her the ball. If this is a post-up player, she just post up. If you're not a post-up player, this is the only tough one we have. You're stepping up, but since the ball went to the wing, you keep going. Because we're either back screening. Let's go back, walk through it. You go all the way down, you go back up to the top. You just set this screen right there. You see she's not posting up, so we're either flex screening or back screening. Someone's going to be coming in here. We need you to widen out. In this case, you would flash high. You're coming underneath. You step out, so we get back into 4 out, 1 in that way. Now, some counters to this. Let's say you two flip-flops. The ball is on the wing. We're trying to pound it inside. We've run people to the high post a bunch. So you get teams that say, you know what, don't let them catch it in the high post. That seems like it'll take away the offense and it'll just kill them. Anytime we have someone flashing to the high post, you come in here and guard me. I make my correct footwork. I'm posting her up. I'm sealing her. We let her dribble up if she needs to, whatever it is to get the ball here. She really takes this away. Really takes this away. We do one of two things. One, we just dive, we call it. If I'm a post-up player and I come down here and I dive, you're filling in behind me, get it to her as quick as you can, you're stepping up a little bit, and I'm sealing if I'm a post-up player. Because we feel like there's really no way you can deny the heck out of me up here, and if you can reverse the ball, either by throwing it here or even by just skipping it, that I shouldn't be able to seal you down here. If I do seal you, we want the ball. If you beat me over the top, back post, step up, high post, high post, high post. Now we've pushed you out, we're trying to go high-low again. Go back to where you just were a second ago. So this is balls on the wing. I'm overplayed really hard. This time I don't want to dive. We do a reversal screen. We'll come in here, set a screen for you. You're stepping up, same action. You catch it up on top, reverse it as quick as you can. I'm diving to the block. I want the ball, or I'm overplayed, catch it on top. I would say within our offense, we either have our players dive or set reversal screens 40% of the time. Anytime they're overplayed, we want them going. We wouldn't want to throw the ball back to the wing. Who's their post? We wouldn't want me coming to the high post to do this. Don't throw. Just keep coming, just kind of keep dancing, keep moving. We tell them as soon as you get to the three-point line, you'll know. You either got her held and you're going to get it, or she's taking it away. As soon as you get here, dive or reversal screen. If I'm not a post-up player, I just do the same thing. I'm going to dive, you're going to fill behind, you're going to step up, but since I don't want to post up, I'm just going to keep coming. Reverse it, reverse it. Well, we got back screen, we got flex screen. Plus I've got a chance to rip it through and try and attack the basket over here on the open side. Go back to where we just were. If it's a guard and I want to set a reversal screen, I'm just coming over here screening. You're coming up and stepping out. We don't have to fill all the way around, and we're right back in the offense. So that's denying reversal. The other thing we work hard on is how do we get the ball. You're going to guard me this time? You're going to go up the screen for me? How do we get a reverse when people get out and deny and really pressure us? She's guarding me. You come over and screen. She's better than our screen at that particular time. I come up. I can't get it. I stop. I go back to it. You fill behind me, just like we talked about. I'm busting out here. Don't throw it, but if I can catch it, great. If I can't catch it, I go back to it. And while we're doing all this, there's a flex screen or back screen over there. So it's not as if these defensive people can just stand here and stare at the ball. We occupy people over here with that movement to give two people over here a little bit more of an opportunity to score. But we work really hard on back doors on the wing right here. Really hard on it. I would say for us, this offense is far more effective against people that come out and pressure us. Now, I'm not saying it's ineffective the other way, but when you get people really spread out in this defense, why don't you just come out here really quick, Black, 5 yet. Just guard any of them for now. We're not going to go live. It's just going to walk through. Let's say the ball's over here on this wing. If we were playing defense, meaning South Dakota State, we'd probably be fronting a lot. We'd have a lot of help side over here. We'd have kind of everybody towards the ball. You'd see a bunch of people here. When we play Baylor's or we played Maryland, we play all these people, you move close to her, you move close to her, you move close to her, keep going, keep going, keep going, you stand right behind her. And they just guard you one-on-one. They don't care about the outside, they don't need to, it's all about can you guard the person. Well, then that's when we feel like we open up all kinds of penetration lanes. Even though player on defense might be a little faster than player on offense, if we are moving you away and you're flashing in, and say you catch the ball, you come down here and screen, you go up and catch it. Now you come out here and catch it, reverse it quick, come out here and catch it. We've moved her all over the court, now you attack her while she's moving. And we get all kinds of penetration against really aggressive defenses because we move the defense enough where we put them in spots where they have to come to the ball. When I'm running this way, the offense has a good chance to go that way. One more thing, and the same idea with all those back doors. The more we get people guarding one-on-one and pressuring, the more back doors we get. We work hard on it, and we get a ton of them. Everybody? Yeah, he asked, what do you do with all that movement over there? What happens when you see penetration? Say you've got the ball, and we just don't go anywhere yet. We just reversed it quick. You saw the ball get thrown. Everyone stay where you're at for a second. Stay where you're at. You see the ball got thrown. It's an open post. You're smarter than I am. She would be clearing out. We're filling. Let's say it's a flex screen. You hear penetration. We talk as much as we can. You just say drive. When you say drive, you're going to widen and stay. You've got to turn and find the ball. You're moving up and down this line. If we have baseline penetration, go ahead. We work on filling this plate. Keep going. In behind her, our top person there. We like to have stop. We like to have someone behind the penetration, someone on top, someone in the corner, someone on the backside block. We spend a ton of time on penetration because we want a lot of it in our offense. So we throw it back here. Everybody go back to where you just were. Where did we go? You had the ball. You all go back. Yep. Before the back screen. Yep. Same thing if we go middle. Let's say you're in the middle of a back screen. You would have cleared out just like you did. You start driving middle. You just say penetration. As soon as you see that, open up, try and find an opening. This is the one where instead of behind, you all fill away a little bit. So we're going to be corner. We're going to, wing. We're going to spread the floor that way. You're stepping somewhat out in that direction. And so we work on our penetration range as much as possible. If we get penetration, come back here. You go back over. You come over here, I think is where you were. You're back on the block. You have the ball on the post side of the floor. You're looking at the post. We catch it here. You feel like you can rip it through. This is a great time to drive. A lot of times that happens before you start the screen. We got penetrate and kick for a shot. We got penetrate and dunk if you need to. So both of those spots are really good chances to penetrate. Okay. Really good question. We asked, let's say you ladies go screen. Defense, why don't you step off for now, please? You did defense. You carried the drill tonight. Thanks, ladies. We go screen. As soon as she catches it, you're all kind of looking in towards the ball a little bit. She asks, do I wait to come off until she comes up? What's the timing of it? You're literally going to wait the whole time until you figure out what she's going to do. You're looking in, you're ready to play. As soon as she starts coming up towards you, you're still aware of where the ball is, but you start coming in. Throw it down there. Stop the thing. We asked about what happens when they switch screens. You are two post players, right? You're moving out. We get a bunch of, I'm going to take your spot. Step back underneath. We get a bunch of this too. Just step up, a lot of slips, come back to the ball. We also get, back up, you got the ball. You guard me for a second. This time you're going to be on the inside of me. She's got the ball. I really wanted a high-low. I thought I was open. Teammates pissed at me. They didn't want to throw it to me. They reverse it. Keep reversing it. I just come across. You threw the ball from the top, so you're going out. You're filling into the high post. In case you got over in front of me, we still have a chance to go back and go high-low. So this back screen, you've got three options. You can come up and screen. You can use it. I could come up and screen. You could come towards me like you're coming off of it, and I could slip. You go back high then. Or you can just go across down here. He asks on if the ball's up on top and we're coming down here to cross screen, who makes the call? If she's going to go back door, if she's going to curl, the offensive player is going to. And what we started doing on these screens is our screens are almost going to face right about here, because that's where our defense is going to be. And what we've done, and the assistant coach is just really bright. He really knows kind of the game much more than I've been able to pick up. But we've started talking to our players about when you come off the screens, don't make a decision on where I'm going offensively on the first shoulder. Make it on the second shoulder. Honest to God, up until probably the last few months, we've never stressed it that much. And just in the last few weeks of getting to the inside shoulder, we're open all the time on screens. And the reason is, defensively, let's say you come into here, and you feel like you're on her bottom shoulder, and I'm behind you. So what would you think maybe? Okay, go ahead. I'm still at a point where I can jump in here and take that away. If we come in and we get you to that other shoulder now you know where I'm at. Now you know you can curl. If you get to the inside shoulder, and I'm inside you, now you know you can flare. Let's say you're still on the bottom shoulder of her, and I'm in here, you're thinking flare, right? Well, I can still get back to you pretty easy. So we really stress, get to that second shoulder, we call it, and then make your cut. But she's the one that gets to go. She's the one that decides. The only time the screener decides is if I'm guarding you, and you start coming to the screen, and you slip it. Well, then she decided before you got there anyway, so you know you're in, you know you're out. Flare. Yep. So if we're back up on top, we just threw the ball to you. Now we're going to work on this flex screen. I'm guarding you. I'm thinking, well, this ain't that hard. I'm just going to run into the paint. You come to it. You think I'm inside. Turn, screen me. Throw it back over the top. Throw it all the way over. And we're just back in state. The ball went from one side to the other. You clear out. You come in. You're looking for a shot. You don't have it. We still go high-low. So on every screen that we set, they should do exactly what you're asking. They should read it and make a good decision based on what the defense does. When I taught it, it seemed like, well, it's just a pattern. A, B, C, D, all the way through. But every screen is a chance for them to make a decision. Where should I go? What's the defense doing? That becomes some of the motion part of it. We don't want to throw the ball from one spot to the next. We hate to do that. We want the ball to bypass spots. We want the ball to be skipped a lot. I don't know if everyone agrees, and I'm not, for this offense I think it works, but ball movement is way more important than player movement. I really believe that. For instance, if you come back and take it. If you all get that interchange like I talked about, go ahead and screen. We switch a lot of screens, so for me defensively, this would basically be that. That's pretty much all I would do defensively. But if all of a sudden you fire a pass to her, now I've got to go from here to there. I had to move 10, 15 feet based on the pass. So player movement for us, the way we play defense, doesn't really move us a lot. Some, if we go from one side of the floor to the other side, but if we keep people on the same side and we're switching a lot of screens, we don't really move the defense a ton. So we believe that ball movement is more important than player movement. If you're down there on that help side, you're on defense now, and you're guarding her, okay? Now we're really working hard if we get her outside to get it in there. If the defense is behind in there, I should be able to throw it in. Unless I'm one selfish person, I should be able to get it in there. If the defense is fronting, well, we work hard on being inside this lane line and throwing it. As soon as I see her creep in, we just throw the ball right there. And now we make you close out. If you're a good one-on-one player, I mean, how many sets could you draw up where you get a really good one-on-one player with the ball in the wing and somebody's sprinting at it? That's hard to guard, really hard to guard. Plus, why don't you five come back out here one more time? I'm going to take your spot. You can step out. Somebody guard all five of us, including me. Yeah, we need to make one more. Yep. So if we're in this position, you're guarding me. You're guarding the all-star out here. I've got the ball, someone guard her inside, and we're just going to walk through anything. We're not going to go live on it. So we've got people one pass away, especially when people are up denying again. Look at how much people are shading over. Now, if I can, don't move anywhere. Everybody's going to stay where you're at. If I can fire a skip pass over there, you're closing out. You're trying to score before all of these defensive players get to the ball. So we've really cleared out that whole side of the floor and given you an isolation without stopping and calling a set and putting you in isolation. We get that all the time through our offense. If you're not a good one-on-one player, we're going to have you hang on to it. Because the other thing we're going to get is a back screen or a flex screen. Now we're getting a post player coming down. Now we get another post-up opportunity right here. Everybody guard who you're supposed to guard, offense go where you're supposed to go. So if I'm a good post player, hopefully I got it. If I didn't, we've got another chance to get it inside. Now we've got another chance to screen and score over there with two players. Okay, stop. Let's say you are great one-on-one players. You're great on the perimeter. You like beating people off the dribble. Well, your interaction over here would be catching the ball on the perimeter. We want you both to catch it wide. Let's say one of you is a great post-up player. You've got to know that. So your interaction should leave our post-up player inside and the other one catching it out so we can go into our post-up player. And so while the possession's going up, they're thinking about their strengths, what we do well, what they do well, and trying to take advantage of them. Now the offense is predictable, but I like it that it's predictable. I think, like I said at the beginning, it's easier to teach, easier to think about breakdown drills, how we can get good at this, easier for our players to know what's going on in a big game. There's no chaos. Some of that's been really, really good for us. But then who's cutting, where they're cutting, how they get to the post, that's different every time down the floor, and that brings in some of the variety of it. I think my time is up. The hook's coming. I'm going to be back tomorrow. I'll have a chance to break it down more. But any other questions tonight before I give it back? It's warm in here. I appreciate all of your attention and patience as I went through all of that. I know it's probably getting close to nap time. But thanks very much, and I'll be around if anything comes up. Thanks, ladies.